Ladies and gentlemen, what really transpired between Uhuru and Ruto? Because these two gentlemen were very close friends. They were comrades. As a matter of fact, you can't also attribute the fallout between these two gentlemen to the handshake and to Raila Amolo Odinga. Because if you follow the politics of this country very closely, none other than Kipchumba Murkomen, during one of the interviews last year, revealed that the fallout actually occurred way before 2017 election. Actually, it was very specific that they started noticing a fallout in 2015. What really transpired? Yesterday, William Samoei Arap Ruto, who is currently the 5th president of the Republic of Kenya, scaled down or withdrew the security details of the former president Uhuru Kenyatta. It didn't end there. Mama Ngina's security details and the driver were also withdrawn. Mama Ngina was actually in Mombasa, and she was stranded because the driver and the security were called to go to Nairobi immediately. And that move, in my view, was significant and is still significant. And it shows that the fallout between these two gentlemen is actually real. And that's where I tend to disagree with Babu Owino, who believes that it is still part of the game. But some other news are emerging that William Ruto actually blocked Uhuru Kenyatta from traveling outside the country on an official mission. I want us to look at why William Ruto would block Uhuru Kenyatta from leaving the country. Before we do that, in case you are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support. Because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Now, let us get back to the main issue. And this information was actually revealed by none other than Pauline Njoroge. Pauline Njoroge is always credible in her information. She worked very closely with President Uhuru Kenyatta and Karanja Kibicho. When the news of security being withdrawn emerged, Pauline Njoroge confirmed, and that's when I knew it was true. Again, she posted this story. Let me just read it for you. That recently, His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta was to travel out of the country on an official mission. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs was supposed to facilitate him and his delegation. Normally, as a former president, he's supposed to be facilitated. If he's leaving the country, it has to be government. Whether Uhuru is going for a private engagement or not, but on this particular one, it was on an official mission. Remember, William Ruto actually appointed Uhuru Kenyatta as the peace envoy to DRC and Ethiopia. So I suspect he was going to one of these missions. And Pauline is continuing, in a strange turn of events, they refused to facilitate his security personnel, save for one, and completely refused to facilitate a single doctor. Remember, Uhuru Kenyatta was traveling to a war-torn region, DRC. He's actually going for a peace mission, which means as a former president, he can be easily targeted. So it means if he's traveling, he's supposed to travel with his security. According to them, they only facilitated one, and they also refused to facilitate a doctor. You know, Uhuru is entitled as a former president to have his personal doctor whenever he's outside the country, because you don't know the kind of underlying issues or conditions he might be suffering. So he has to travel with his doctor. Then these guys said, no doctor, but we are only giving you one security. So Uhuru Kenyatta, former president of the Republic of Kenya, leaving Kenya with one security alone, not even a single doctor, no any other person. And Pauline is continuing, because of the situation in the country he was traveling to, he couldn't proceed with the mission without security. The mission aborted. So from this post alone, it is clear that as much as William Ruto did not block him directly, but his intention was to block him. And Pauline is continuing. Anyway, tonight they will sleep happy that they have withdrawn even Mama Ngina's security. I wonder which rally they are accusing her of sponsoring. Where is the godliness they preach in all these rallies? Okay. So from this Pauline Njoroge's post, I can authoritatively now analyze this story that William Ruto sabotaged Uhuru Kenyatta's travel out of the country. And why would Ruto do this? Because remember, when William Ruto was taking oath of office, he made it very clear that he has appointed Uhuru Kenyatta as the mediator of peace in DRC between the DRC and the factions which are there, and also that Uhuru was going to continue as a peace envoy to DRC and Ethiopia. And Uhuru Kenyatta at some point took up that appointment. And for those who follow this channel, I opined that the biggest mistake Uhuru was going to make was to accept that job. And in fact, the fact that William Ruto made it public was a good ground for him to just say, no, thank you. But Uhuru Kenyatta, in his own wisdom, took over this role. So he was supposed to attend one of these functions. He was blocked. Why do you think he was blocked? Number one, in my view, I tend to think that probably there is the move could have been informed by intelligence, basically an intelligence-based decision. Maybe there's something which William Ruto knows as now the President of the Republic of Kenya, which us, as ordinary people, we don't know. Because every evening, William Ruto is furnished with intelligence report that Uhuru Kenyatta is going to DRC, this is what he's doing, and by doing this is what we're going to achieve, and it's not going to work in your favor. So probably intelligence-based. I don't want to get further into that, but I highly suspect that there is something. Otherwise, just traveling out of the country, facilitating a few guys, I don't think if that would have been a problem for the government. If anything, Uhuru Kenyatta can facilitate himself. Uhuru Kenyatta doesn't really need government to facilitate him. It's only that he's a former president, and therefore, anytime he leaves the country, he's entitled to some of these benefits. So that's number one. Number two, I also tend to think that William Ruto is actually trying so hard to provoke Uhuru Kenyatta to abort this international assignment. Maybe when they were giving Uhuru Kenyatta these assignments, they never thought about the implication and the impact it will have on them. So, you want to go out on an official mission, you can't be facilitated, you abort the event. The next day you will go, you are frustrated. So someone is simply telling you, please leave. And I can now add the dots between this particular incident and what Cherargei is trying to do. Cherargei, the Nandi senator, is very clear that he wants Uhuru Ruto to fire Uhuru Kenyatta from this particular assignment, because Uhuru Kenyatta is still participating, in quotes, in politics. So let us wait and see. But I tend to think that all these are just provocation, so that Uhuru Kenyatta can decide, okay, I've served as a president, I really don't need to perform these functions. Number three, I think, and we all know, that this could be part of William Ruto's vengeance, revenge mission. If you follow politics of this country, there was a day William Ruto was heading to Uganda. Ndindi Nyoro and Oscar Sudi had already arrived in Uganda. Then William Ruto and his team could not be allowed to leave Wilson Airport. Do you think William Ruto will easily forget those instances? William Ruto cannot forget those instances. He was just waiting for the right opportunity. There was a time William Ruto was supposed to go to London. Actually, he was in London during the Chatham House visit. I think it was one of his major visits there, the first one. Once he arrived there, then he delivered his speech. William Ruto was then supposed to meet with the Kenyans in London, blah, blah. Then from nowhere, Uhuru Kenyatta left the country. And our constitution is clear that the president and the deputy cannot leave the country at the same time. So William Ruto was actually forced back into the country. His meetings are aborted. Do you think William Ruto, will easily forgive Uhuru Kenyatta? So I think he's just trying to frustrate him. He's just trying to revenge in another way. And number 4, if you ask me, I tend to think that Kenya Kwanza now have a new strategy on how they are dealing with Uhuru Kenyatta. And that strategy is gloves off. Previously, I think their idea was to have Uhuru Kenyatta engaged in international activities. Then by engaging him in international activities, then Uhuru Kenyatta was going to keep off politics. But Uhuru Kenyatta, they are still seeing Uhuru Kenyatta's hands all over in Kenyan politics. So which means they developed a new strategy. That the new strategy is, let us fight Uhuru Kenyatta, go for Uhuru Kenyatta directly. That's why you are seeing them going for him directly, including even the issues of tax, including the security withdrawal. So it's a new strategy which they have, that this is how we are going to deal with Uhuru Kenyatta. We are not going to allow Uhuru Kenyatta to have peace until he surrenders. And again, number 5, if you ask me, I think in their own wisdom, which they never had before, is that they've realized a bit late that the international engagements are actually giving Uhuru Kenyatta a platform. Uhuru Kenyatta, being a former president, has international networks. So these platforms were providing him with the international networks. He was still able to meet former head of state. He was still able to have a say. He was still having the limelight. For example, when a kind of peace or ceasefire was reached in DRC, it became headlines in most of serious media houses in Africa. That is something which Ruto would not want Uhuru Kenyatta to do. It provides him with the platforms to meet with the president. Remember what Uhuru did to Raila. He appointed Raila Odinga as the as the African Union High Representative for Infrastructure. And Raila would attend events with the heads of states. So I think they've realized that by allowing Uhuru to continue with these engagements, he was still going to create those networks. He was going to maintain them. And in most cases, those networks will still come handy in 2027, because Uhuru is not leaving politics anytime soon. And lastly, I think Ruto is just out to embarrass and shame Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. I don't know what you think, but probably he's doing this maybe to see the reaction of the mountain. How will the mountain react? We will be able to know all this when they attend the mega rally in Nakuru, because Nakuru plays a significant role for Uhuru and Ruto's politics. Thank you guys, and may you have a good day. Bye-bye.